Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Vidamaneo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You're listening to Season 5, Episode 27. So here's a good one. Ghosting in the workplace. Now, I'm not talking about the person who just stopped showing up entirely, although that's a thing too. I mean the other kind. The slow fade, the barely there team member. The one who's technically showing up, but no one's really sure what they're doing. They dodge accountability, they give vague updates, they take just enough action to stay off your radar, or at least they try. But if you look closer, the impact is clear. They're dragging the team down. This is a different kind of ghosting, not full-on disappearance, but the quiet quitters, the barely theirs, and the present but absent employees. And as a small business owner, you can't afford to ignore it. Let's start with what this looks like in practice. You've got someone on your team who's technically doing their job. They respond to emails, eventually. They show up to meetings, but never contribute. They're always just a little late, a little behind, a little off. Clients are waiting too long to hear back. Projects are lagging. And the worst part? The rest of the team sees it, and they're carrying the weight. Now, this kind of disengagement is tricky. It's not a screaming HR violation. It's not someone cursing out a coworker or skipping 5 days in a row. It's a slow drip, and it can poison a team if you let it go on for too long. Here's why you can't afford to brush it off. A disengaged employee doesn't just underperform. They start to shift the culture. Other team members begin to wonder why they're working so hard when someone else is skating by. Resentment builds, productivity dips, and pretty soon, the people you want to keep start thinking about leaving. Especially in a small team, one disengaged employee can create a ripple effect that's hard to contain. So what do? You start with curiosity, not accusation. When someone starts pulling back, don't lead with frustration, even if you're feeling it. Lead with observation. Something like, I've noticed you've been quieter in meetings and a few deadlines have slipped. Is everything okay? It's a small sentence, but it opens the door. Because sometimes disengagement is about performance, and sometimes it's about burnout or personal issues, or someone silently struggling with a health issue they hadn't disclosed. You won't know unless you ask. That conversation might be uncomfortable, but it's part of your job now. And no matter how the conversation goes, document it. What you observed, what you asked, how they responded, keep it factual and keep it in your files. From there, it's time to clarify expectations, and I mean in writing. People who are pulling back tend to thrive in ambiguity. The more vague things are, the easier it is to fly under the radar. So remove the gray area. Lay out deadlines, communication expectations, turnaround times for client work, what collaboration looks like on your team. Don't assume they know. Don't rely on common sense. Spell it out. Something as simple as, after we meet with a client, I expect a follow-up email within 24 hours and the task added to the project board. That way, if things don't happen, it's not just you're not being a team player. It's a specific, observable miss. And speaking of specifics, track performance, not vibes. You might feel like someone's disengaged. You might be annoyed. But feelings aren't documentation. Focus on the behaviors. How many deadlines have been missed? How often are they calling out sick and when? Are clients complaining? Are emails going unanswered? Have they contributed anything measurable to a recent team project? These are the things that you track. Keep a simple log. It doesn't need to be fancy, just consistent. And if things aren't improving, move into progressive accountability. That means you give them a chance to course correct before you consider parting ways. Start with a coaching conversation. Follow up with an action plan. Something like, over the next 30 days, here's what success looks like. Now, you don't have to call it a performance improvement plan if that feels too formal, but the idea is the same. Give them a window to improve. Make the goals clear. Keep it documented. Now, here's where it gets delicate. If the disengagement includes frequent sick days, or you suspect it might be tied to a disability or mental condition, pause. This is where legal risk enters the picture. You may be dealing with something protected under FMLA, ADA, or your state's sick leave laws. You're allowed to ask for documentation. You're allowed to hold people accountable to performance standards. But don't take disciplinary action without checking your obligations first. This is the moment to get HR or legal involved, even if it's just for a gut check. You can still document performance issues, just proceed with more caution and a clearer paper trail. If you've had the conversations, made the expectations clear, offered a fair opportunity to improve, and they're still not performing, then yes, it's time to make a decision. And you are not stuck. You're not doing something wrong by letting someone go who isn't doing the job. But when you do, keep your reason focused on documented performance failures, not attitude, not bad energy. Stick to what you can point to. And once they're gone, take a breath. Then look at what you can do to prevent it next time. Use your introductory periods more intentionally. Don't wait 90 days to check in. Make expectations clear from the beginning. Build in regular feedback loops. Don't assume people will speak up if they're struggling. They often won't. And don't assume they'll course correct without help. They often don't. Finally, remember this. Ghosting, in any form, isn't just a behavior problem. It's a leadership challenge. It tests your patience. It challenges your clarity. But your job isn't to carry disengaged employees. Your job is to protect the business, to protect your team, to protect your clients. You can lead with empathy and enforce standards. That's what real leadership looks like. Compassion, yes, but with clarity. You don't have to rescue everyone, but you do have to keep the business moving. And when someone stops showing up fully, even if they're still technically on the clock, it's okay to make a change. In fact, sometimes it's the best thing you can do for everyone. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.